Today, I consider it a great honor to be able to introduce Governor Jay Inslee. On behalf of the Centralia College President, Bob Moe-Barker, and the Centralia College Center of Excellence, and all the Centers of Excellences, I just think it's a great honor to have the Governor here. I've known this man for many years, as a state legislator, as a citizen, as a congressional member, and now as our governor. 5 years ago, Jay Inslee came down to our summit at SATSA and encouraged us to commit to training a workforce of the future for construction and energy. And he encouraged us, and we asked him to come down and talk about his vision for the future of clean energy in the state, and accommodated us. You know, the man come here today and sat for half an hour and listened to our speech. I went back and to our speaker. I went back and talked to him, and he said, "Hey, I got time. I want to listen to this." So I just think this is really something that's precious in an elected official, chief elected official of the state, to be able to say, "I got time. I want to listen." And you know, today the governor keeps the drums beating for the workforce training that will get us to the clean energy future in this state over some time. Governor Inslee believes in the workforce training and apprenticeships. He believes in those apprenticeships and workforce training that will get us to that clean energy economy sooner than later. Governor Inslee is a pusher for the every facet of the clean energy production. And he knows, again, like I said, it will take a trained workforce to get us there. Governor Inslee reminds me of when my wife and I were down at Cape Kennedy, and we looked at the space launches that took place and the symbol of the Apollo 8. And the symbol of Apollo 8 said, "Failure is not an option." And failure is not an option in the direction that this state is going. And one last thing I'd like to say about Governor Inslee is that my friend Elihu Druckmann, who is an industrial man here in Lewis County, and a very, very progressive industrial man, his wisdom of 92 years, he said to me just last week, he said, "You know, if you see that Governor Inslee, you tell him he is the best governor in the United States of America." So with that, I'd like to introduce Governor Jay Inslee.
Who said that?
Elihu Druckmann.
Really?
Yes, and he's lived here for a long time.
No kidding.
Yep.
Thank you. It is a delight to be here, and I have to tell you, I really did enjoy listening to the last 25 minutes of this discussion. When I came down here, I was told there was going to be a brilliant, insightful kind of person who really understands psychology and the future of America. I thought they were talking about Bob. That's what I thought they were talking about. Turns out it was this Dr. Taylor. Doctor, where were you when I was trying to learn to raise teenage sons? I needed you big time. Now I have the answers. I really enjoyed your comments. I'm going to exercise some of your suggestions. You suggested we should praise people when they've done right. I'm going to and criticize people privately. I'm going to do this right now. Yesterday we started a major statewide effort to adopt a career-connected learning initiative in the state of Washington, so that 100,000 of our young people within the next 5 years, when they get out of high school, will have a career ready for them on day one because they will have already been involved in apprenticeships. This is a tremendous vision, and I want to thank John Altman, who's in the back, who's been a principal leader on this. He has done tremendous things for the state of Washington. Perry England, is Perry here today? Perry's standing right next to him. Perry is the private partnership aspect of this. And Brad Smith, can you give these three amigos a round of applause for their great effort? We're very excited. Now, you're supposed to do criticism in private. So Skylar Haas, could you remind me to criticize you for working me too hard yesterday privately? Could you just remind me that? Skylar's done a great job for this community in so many ways, and thanks for your work, Skylar. I really appreciate what you've done for for our community. Really interesting confluence of events today for me, and I'm going to deviate from my prepared remarks to comment. Sometimes things happen in one day that sort of wraps things all together. So 2 hours ago, I was looking at our efforts, I was working with our efforts to deal with the flooding threat that this community in the Chehalis Basin is exposed to. I was just down at a Grange Hall where we had our working group dealing with flooding efforts, and I was in the Grange Hall where water was 2.5 feet deep in the Grange Hall. Right next door was a house that was pushed off its foundation in the flood of 2007. And we've been involved in an effort to try to build a flood response and prevention mechanism with a lot of great people who are working together. And the threat of those floods is increasing because the extreme precipitation events are becoming much more frequent in Western Washington and much more intense. So the flooding danger we have is already bad enough, but it's getting worse because of climate change. So I just came from working with this group to try to deal with preventing floods in the Chehalis Basin. A half hour after having that meeting, the President of the United States announced that he was withdrawing from the Paris Agreement, where we would work with the rest of the world to fight climate change that is making flooding worse and more frequent in Western Washington. The President took action that would make us an alliance with only 2 other nations in the entire world. Every single nation in the world is allied against climate change today, except Nicaragua, Syria, and the United States of America. And that was disappointing to me because I always thought of America as leading the world rather than being the pariah of the world and being the caboose. So that was disappointing. But then I come down here and I meet Bob and others who understand that if we give our people training, if we give them apprenticeships, if we give them an entrepreneurial opportunity, they're going to build a whole new clean energy economy in the United States. And that starts right here where we have college that is training people in a variety of new clean energy mechanisms. It has to do with the trades, which are training electricians and carpenters and sheetrock experts and sheet metal experts and plumbers who are developing whole new systems of buildings where we can save massive amounts of energy, where instead of having to have pollution to drive our electrical system to waste energy, we retain it and we build buildings that are now possibly net zero energy buildings. We're building buildings in the state of Washington that have net zero wastage of energy. So here we have, in just a few hours, one governor recognizing a threat to his state due to climate change, one president who decided to abandon American leadership on climate change, and a local leader Bob Gunther, and other people who are moving, taking control of their own destiny to train our youth to build a new future for the state of Washington. I'm excited about the latter because I believe if we can give our people apprenticeships in high school, we're going to have a lot less unemployment, we're going to have better buildings, we're going to have more jobs and better take-home. That's a future for the state of Washington, and I'm happy about this. So what we launched yesterday, this Career Connected Washington, is a public-private partnership where we intend to join the genius of private enterprise with the public education system. In the short term can have 50,000 to start with in the next 5 years, 50,000 kids in apprenticeship programs while they're in high school. And we've got a great start of this effort. We got private enterprise, big time committed. Microsoft, Brad Smith, Perry England leading this consortium. And JP Morgan contributed $1 million to this effort as a kickoff. Thank them for their effort. We've got our Department of Commerce, which has committed hundreds of thousands of dollars to this effort. And we've got a public education system that understands the genius of this. And there's an example of this that I think we ought to take a look at. You look at Switzerland. 60% of their students in high school are in apprenticeship programs. As a result, they have an unemployment rate for 19-year-olds that is no greater than 40-year-olds, because on day one, they are ready to go into a trade. All kinds of trades. Trades in construction, trades in insurance, trades in healthcare, you name it. There's really no industrial sector where apprenticeships don't make sense and are not possible. So we want and believe we can do the same type of thing in the state of Washington. And let me tell you why I'm excited about this. I love our technical colleges. They're life-changing. But they have a problem. The average age for our students in technical colleges is 28. Well, you know what that means? It means that kids are getting out of high school at 18 and kind of drifting for 10 years, right? And then finally getting back into the trades and technical education and then having great careers. It is our intent to fill that missing decade. So when you get your degree, you are ready to go in a job to help build the economy of the state of Washington. I am committed to this. I believe we can make this happen. I think that we have local leadership right here in this room to make this happen, and I'm going to look forward to working with you so that we can realize this vision. Thanks for what you're doing, and thanks for Bob for his leadership to ask me to have a chance to talk with you about this. There's a lot of exciting things happening in our state today, but to me, one of the most exciting is to think every single 18-year-old kid is going to have a vision for their future. I'm dedicated to that. Let's make this happen. Thanks a lot. Take care.